In order to accept payments on Expertise TV, you need to link
create package, and then we need to put in a name for this package. So let's call it test.
a payment method.
We need to select a category for it. So let's try and select a coaching session. So let's call it test. Let's go and create your first offer. From your dashboard, left-hand side, if you go to monetize. And then here we want to click on create package. And then we need to put in a name for this package. So let's call it test. And then we need to select a category for it. So let's try and select a coaching session. And then we put in a description. And then we need to put in a price for it. So let's charge $50 for this. You can select the currency underneath it. And then if this is supposed to be a one-off payment, we're all good. If we want to make it a recurring, a monthly payment, then we need to click this. Make sure you click this now because we can't change it afterwards. So for us, this is a one-off payment, so we leave this unticked and then click on Create Package. And now we have your first package created. You can create as many packages for all of the different offers that you have in here. But this is how we create your first package.
Let's go and set up your availability so that people are able to book a time with you. Top right hand side, if you go to your profile picture and then click on My Availability. And this is taking you through to your calendar. All your bookings will show up in here. There are two ways on how to now put in your availability. First way would be to do it manually. If we click on New Availability, and you can then put in the times for each individual day when you are available. So let's say you want to be available on Monday at 10 a.m. So this would be start time. And then for each day, you would need to specify the end time as well. So let's say I want to be available from Monday 10 a.m. to Monday at 11 a.m. And then when you click on Create Availability, it will then show up in your calendar and people will be able to book a slot in this time frame. Now the other way is to actually set up your calendar sync if you're using an external calendar. If you click on this button here, it will then take you through to connect your external calendar. So I'm using Google, so I'm going to connect my Google account. And once this is linked, just sign in first. And then once it is linked, we can then, in the first step, we need to now select a calendar that is actually going to show us the availability. So for me, I've set up a calendar in my Google Calendar where I've created slots with my availability. So you can select this calendar that you want to use to create slots for your availability in the first step. In the second step, we need to select a calendar to prevent double bookings. So if you select all the calendars here that you normally have events on where you're not available, and then this way it will take this out of your availability on expertise.tv. So select this calendar here. I've selected my main calendar. And the third step, we will now select a calendar that you want bookings that are made on expertise.tv to be sent to. So where do you want bookings to show up that your clients make with you? Which calendar do you want them to go into? So again, I've selected my main calendar here. So now every time somebody makes a booking with me, this is sent to my main calendar and I will be able to see it in there. And this is how you link either your external calendar or how you set up your availability on expertise.tv so that people are able to make bookings with you. So what can you actually sell on expertise.tv? How can you make money? Well, it really depends on your business and what kind of services you're offering. In your monetize area, you can create all types of different packages that you'd like to offer to your audience. So let's click on one of these packages that I've created here. And you'll see there's a section where you can select a category for this package. So it could be a coaching session. It could be multiple coaching sessions. It could be a coaching program. Why not take a couple of coaching sessions and put them together into a program, maybe a 6-week program where you're checking in with people once or twice a week on a 30-minute call to really make some progress on the issues that they are facing. Or you can offer this. It could also be a video course or a group workshop. It could be a membership package. It could be a one-off payment membership package, or it could be a recurring payment membership package. So this way you could get some recurring revenue. It could also be any type of premium content that you'd like to offer and that you'd like people to get access to once they purchase your package. It could be a physical product. We have people selling physical products in our platform. It could be a software or really any types of professional services that you can offer. And then you can attach videos or files to this package. Once people purchase this, they will then get access to it. Now, one other thing you can do is to actually have people purchase a time in your calendar. We have another video on how you can actually set up your availability. Now, on your profile, you can set a price for your hourly rate. So this is basically putting up a paywall in front of your calendar, and then when people actually want to book a time in with you, they'd have to purchase this time. And another way on how to sell things would be to actually set up a webinar and put in a price for this webinar. So then people would need to actually purchase a ticket to be able to attend. So this is another way on how you can make money. So basically, you are not really limited in the types of offers that you would like to present to your audience. You can create all of these in your monetize area. It really depends on what kind of services you and your business are offering. But this is how you can create different packages, different offers to monetize your webinars on expertise. So we've just created our new offer, and now we want to actually get it out there. If you go to the top right, create and send content to community, this is going to take you through to your community area. And now we want to create a nice post. So if you put in a title for it, and then in the description, you can put a nice description in here, and then select your package. So if you go on here, right-hand side, attach to package, and you can choose the package that you want to attach. Let's attach this one, my offer. And now I can see it here, so we've attached it to this post. Click on post now. This is going to post this to your profile. And here it is. You can use this URL on top to share it with people, or if you click on select members to receive email, you can send this out to people by email. You'll see a list of people that have joined your community here. You can select these, or else if you pop in their name in their email, you can invite them. Let's go and create your first webinar. From your dashboard, left-hand side, we want to go to webinars. And then if you click on create webinar. So now, first of all,
we will need to give our webinar a title, and then we need to select a date and time for our webinar. So it's always good to select a time that covers all the time zones where your audience is in. So for example, if you want to host in America at the East Coast, but you want to cover the West Coast as well, then try and do your webinar in the afternoon. And then we also need to pop in a brief description to create it. And then if you click on Create Webinar, and there we go, we have your webinar created. And now we need to get everything else set up to be ready to actually hold this webinar. We've created your offers, and now we want to make them available for your audience to purchase during your webinar. So what we'll need to do is we need to go to your Rehearse or Broadcast area. From your dashboard, if we go to Webinars left-hand side, and then on your webinar, if we go to Webinar Actions, and then Edit Webinar. And now top right-hand side, if you click on Rehearse or Broadcast. So this is the area where you would actually be holding your webinar in. And now what we want to do is we want to click on Sell Package, and you'll be able to see all the offers that you created in your monetize section. And now we want to send this offer that we've created out. And now you can see here it is now on our webinar page, and your audience will see this as well. They will see this to their right hand side. So ideally you would have a nice title here in the description, and then they can click on Purchase Now to purchase this. And this is how we put your offers up on your webinar page for your audience to purchase. We've created your offers, and now we want to make them available for your audience to purchase during your webinar. So what we'll need to do is we need to go to your Rehearse or Broadcast area. From your dashboard, if we go to Webinars left-hand side, and then on your webinar, if we go to Webinar Actions, and then Edit Webinar. And now top right-hand side, if you click on Rehearse or Broadcast. So this is the area where you would actually be holding your webinar in. And now what we want to do is we want to click on Sell Package, and you'll be able to see all the offers that you created in your monetize section. And now we want to send this offer that we've created out. And now you can see here it is now on our webinar page, and your audience will see this as well. They will see this to their right hand side. So ideally you would have a nice title here in the description. And then you can click on Purchase Now to purchase this. And this is how we put your offers up on your webinar page for your audience to purchase. Let's go and create your first landing page. From your dashboard, left-hand side, go to Capture. And now click on Create New Landing Page. And so here on the left-hand side, let's give our landing page a name. This is just for us to see. And on the right-hand side, it says Preview Landing Page. In this drop-down, if we search, let's go and create your first landing page. From your dashboard, left-hand side, go to Capture. And now click on Create New Landing Page. And so here on the left-hand side, let's give our landing page a name. This is just for us to see. And on the right-hand side, it says Preview Landing Page. In this drop-down, if we select our webinar, it's then giving us a preview of what this webinar on the landing page will look like. So this is the landing page that we are trying to build. Now, first thing, we need to select a different background image. So let's select an image here. Here we go. So now we have a nice image up in the background. And the next thing we want to do is, here where it says takeaway, we want to actually give people here a very brief summary of what they're going to learn in this webinar. So learn how to build a landing page. And then this is going to show up here just underneath your webinar title. Now the second thing we want to do is we have 3 icons here in the middle of your landing page. And we want to really customize these to your webinar, to your webinar audience. So to do this, we need to go in the Goals tab over here. And then we can change the icons. If you click on this icon here, you then get a list of different icons that you can select. And we want to really change these up. So the first one, the first icon here, Goal 1, this should be the issues and pain points that your ideal clients, that your audience is facing. And then write about a paragraph for each of these. So this is going to go in here, and we want to have like a really nice paragraph to give people a lot of information to make them really excited to actually sign up. So the first one, we want this to be about the issues and pain points. And the second one, we want this to be about your actual solution, how you're actually helping people overcome these issues and pain points. And the third one, we want this to be about what you're enabling people to do after they've attended your webinar. So what will they be able to do after that they aren't able to do now? What are you helping them to do? So we've done this. And now you can see it has been updated here as well. Now you'd want to change all these icons and write about a paragraph for each of these issues and points, solution, and what they're able to do after. And then if you click on the video tab, this is an optional thing, but if you want to, you can upload a brief video as well. And this should be about a 1-minute video, just giving people about a bit of a teaser about this webinar, about what you're going to do during this webinar. Again, speak about the issues and pain points, speak about the solution, and speak about what they'll be able to do afterwards. So now we've edited the most important features on your landing page. And when you're done, if you click on Create New Landing Page in the very bottom of the page, and this has now saved your landing page, and this is how you create your first landing page. So we've created your landing page, and we're just one step away from really publishing it. From your dashboard, left-hand side, go to Webinars. And now on your webinar, if you go to Webinar Actions and then click on Edit Webinar. Now we want to scroll down a little. Underneath Generate Leads, it says Landing Pages. If you click on this, and now in this blue box, in the drop-down, we need to select our landing page. And then if you click on Link Landing Page with this webinar, if we click on this, and so now we can see the landing page here, we've connected it. We'll be able to see statistics here. When people come through and see this landing page, it will count the views here, and then it will also tell us when you click the sign up button on your landing page to actually sign up to your webinar. Now this is the link, the URL to your webinar. What we want to do is we want to copy this and then open this up in an incognito, and then this way you will be able to see what this landing page looks like for someone who is not registered. Now to open up an incognito window, you can do this on Chrome browser, either top right hand side in the drop down settings menu. If you click on New Incognito Window, or you can click Control, Shift, and N together, and this should open up an incognito window as well. If you're on a different browser, you can open up a private window. This should work as well. So make sure that it's either a private or incognito window, because this way you're not signed in, and you'll actually be able to view this landing page as somebody else would see it. And you can then try out and click on the sign up button and register to your own webinar, and then you'll see what this process will be like. So this URL, this direct link, make a note of this, because you can now use this to really get the word out about your webinar. You can send this out to people to come to your landing page and then register for your webinar. And so this is what we've now done. We've now published your landing page.
So we have your webinar set up. Now, how do we actually get the word out about it? How do we get our first sign-ups for this webinar? So let's go to your webinar and have a look at the options that we have there. So first of all, if you have people in your community already, if you go to invite attendees in your webinar setup, you can then invite them here. If you click on select community members to invite, you'll get a list of everyone that you'd like to invite to this, and you can then send them an invitation. If you have an email list or have people that you'd like to invite by email, if you click on invite by email on top here, and then you can input their email addresses and names, and they will then be sent an email. You can see the preview on the right hand side. You can customize it here as well, again, to invite them to your webinar. So this is one way to do it. Now the other way is to really do some organic marketing. To do this, if you go to landing pages, and we want to really get a link to your landing page that we can then use to post this out on your social media profiles, to post this out in different groups on Facebook or LinkedIn, or if you want to, you can run paid advertising as well and direct people to your landing page with this link. So here's the link. It's on the direct link. Once you've linked your landing page to your webinar, you have a direct link here. You can use this to make posts to social media. What you can also do with this link is send this out to people that you'd like to invite in person. And if you have any friends or contacts that might be able to give you a shout out on their social media profiles, it might be a good idea to give them this link too. And this might increase your reach as well if they then make a post on their social media profiles advertising your webinar. And so this is how we can get the word out about your webinar and how you can get your first signups for it. Yes, thanks for joining me tonight. This webinar today, this module is on getting free signups with organic marketing. Now, if you want to see any of the other ones, I'm posting out the link. So click on this link. And in today's session now, it's going to be about how you can do organic marketing. First of all, I'd like you to understand what options you have to engage with people on social media and to find your target audience. And then afterwards, I'd like you to actually get started doing this, and I have an example marketing strategy for you that you can use to get started to get your first engagement. So how do you really find your target audience in social media? And that's the first step that you want to do before you actually engage with people. You need to make sure that you're engaging with the right people. And the way to go about this is to research different hashtags, different keywords that you can use in search. So go to any of your social media platforms, type some keywords that are related to what it is that you're doing in the search, and it will return content. And you want to see that this content is actually relevant to your target audience's pain points and to the goals that your target audience wants to achieve. And when you're doing this, you want to then also use these hashtags in your own posts to get them out to a wider audience. And there are some websites that you can use that will recommend you a bunch of different hashtags that you actually can use, that you can start your search with. And when you're doing these searches, and also have a look at what other people are posting, what hashtags they are using, and then again you can use these hashtags for your own search. Now, I've done an example here. I went to allhashtag.com, which is a website that gives you a bunch of recommendations of what hashtags to use. I've put in exhausted now as my first hashtag that I wanted to research. It's now given me a bunch of different hashtags that I can use. And I've then taken a hashtag. I went on Twitter. I've put one of these hashtags in the search there. I've put in exhausted now, and it's now giving me a list of posts that people have made where they're actually speaking about how exhausted they are, how much stress they're having. So these could already be people that I might want to engage with. And you then have a look at what hashtags they are using in their posts as well, and use these to further your search. You might want to do some combinations as well. Twitter actually lets you search not only for hashtags, it also lets you search for keywords, for any types of words that people have used in their posts. So you might want to have some combinations there as well. I'd recommend that you build a list of these, so make a list of different hashtags and keywords that you can use that will then return relevant content from people that are having the same pain points and the same goals as your target audience. And while you're doing this, you might come across some of your competitors. So competitors, with that I mean either profiles or pages or groups that are very related to what you are doing. So they might be, they'll be talking about the same pain points. They might be addressing the very same problem that you are addressing, or a very similar problem. I'd recommend that you make a list of your competitors as well. Have a look at the hashtags that they're using to include them in your search. And then also you can start engaging with their content. You can start engaging with the people that are that have engaged with your competitors' content. So maybe comment on their posts, start some conversations on there. You can also have a look at the type of people that are following your competitors. Have a look at their pages, and their profiles. Have a look at what they're posting, what hashtags they're using. And you can also follow them. You can have a look at the content they're using, and the content your competitors using, and then you can copy this, not copy the same content, but make some content that is similar to this and use this on your own profiles. Now, I've done a search here for some competing pages. I put in stress on Facebook in the search, and I've gone to the pages tab, and it's now giving me a bunch of pages that are already focused on stress. So these are pages I could now have a look at. When you're doing this, have a look at the posts that these pages have. Have a look at the people that are actually engaging with these posts. When you click on the like section here on this post, or on the comment section, it's giving you the actual names of people that have interacted with this post. So you can now start a conversation with them, you can start interacting with them, and you can also check out their profiles, and you might want to follow them too. The same thing I have done on Twitter. So on Twitter, I found an account that is about mindfulness, so that's something stress related. I then went to the followers section, and it's now showing me a list of all these 1,500 people that have liked, well, that are following this account on Twitter, and I can now go in and actually follow all of these pages, these accounts. I can also have a look at these accounts, at what they are posting out, and I can start engaging with them. Now, one more thing where you can really reach your target audience is when you find groups. Groups you can find on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and also Twitter has an equivalent to groups, which is called lists. What you want to do is have a search for groups that already have your target audience in. So again, the same thing, you want to find groups that are about the same pain points, the same goals of your target audience. And then you want to start building relationships with the people in there. So don't just spam these groups with your own posts, with your own promotions, but really try and add some value. Start conversations, have some discussions, and help the people in these groups find a solution, or at least come closer to their solution to actually overcoming their pain points. Please respect the rules in these groups, otherwise your account's going to get banned. And if the group doesn't actually allow you to post your own promotional content in there, the way around it is to send a message to the administrators asking them whether it would be okay to make a post about your content, which is really relevant to this group. And you can even ask administrators to pin your posts in the group if they like what you're doing. Now, a lot of them will say no, but some of them might say yes. And when they're saying yes, and especially when they're pinning your post, you're in. If they pin your post, it's going to be on top of the group, and everyone that comes to this group will see your post. The other thing you can do is have a look at the people that are in these groups. You can follow them, you can have a look at their profiles, and especially when you've actually interacted with someone in these groups, it's okay to send a follow request, and then if they like you, they might follow you back. Now, I've had a look here for groups on Facebook related to stress. So all I did was type in stress in the search bar. I went to the groups tab, and it's now showing me a bunch of different groups that are related to stress. You might want to filter this on the left-hand side to only include public groups. This is because in a public group, you can already see all the content that's in there, and before you need to join it, so you can see whether your target audience is actually in this group. Now, if you want to find lists on Twitter, the easiest way to do this is to do a Google search. So specify that you only want to see results from twitter.com. So site:/twitter.com, then put in your keyword. In this case, looking for marketing lists. So put in your keyword and then add lists to the search. I make this search here. It's returning me a bunch of different lists that are related to marketing. They have people in these lists that are posting about marketing. Now, I went to one of these results and I went to the members section, and it's now showing me all the people that are in this list, and these are curated lists of people around your keyword. So this here is a list of marketers. So this is already your target audience. You can now have a look at their profiles. You can have a look at their posts. You can follow them. You can follow their followers and start engaging with these people and with the people that are following these accounts. Now, I have some recommendations for when you're actually posting out content. When you're posting out content, you're doing this in groups or you're doing this on your own social media profiles. What you want to keep in mind is that you really want to add value to your target audience. You want to help them solve a pain point and bring them closer to their goal. And that's why people will be interested in your content when this content is actually useful for them. What I'd recommend that you do is to use visual content, so that be images, videos. You might want to use an audiogram or an infographic. This captures people's attention a lot more than just doing a text post or just a link post. You always want to include the link to your landing page to actually point people to your webinar or to whatever lead magnet you're using. And then include a call to action as well. So really tell people what you'd actually like them to do with this post. How would you like them to engage with this post? So this could be either telling them to click on the link and then share it, or it could be that you tell them to click on the link to register for your webinar if they want to know more, and then let you know if they can actually make it in the comments. And also then, for content that you're posting out on your own channels, use the hashtags that you've researched to get this post out to a wider audience. I have some examples here of just some social media posts that you might want to make. So the one on the left-hand side, that's just one from our channel. What you might want to do is start this with a question where you're giving people something to identify with. And you might want to create some nice images that have some content in there that are really talking about the pain point that this is about, to give people something to straight away identify with your post and capture the interest. And then the post on the right-hand side, that's just an example of using hashtags in there. So when you're making posts, include some hashtags to make sure that your post is going out to all these different hashtag channels and is seen by more people. And here are some examples of video posts. Now, the one on the left-hand side I made to actually give you an idea of what a post would look like that you can make in your group. So I started this one with saying, oh, I see that a lot of people in this group have actually had some issues around, in this case, I say around getting more followers on social media. So put your pain point in there. And then I've given them a bit of a solution. So give them and really try and add some value there. Give them a solution. And in the end of it, I've then put in the link to my landing page, saying that if they want to get more info about it, they can click on this and sign up to my webinar. So how do you now get started with this? So first of all, I'd like you to really apply all of the things that I've now told you. You'd get started, and this is an example strategy now. You might come up with a better strategy that works better for your own content, for your own target audience. But I'd like you to get started by, first of all, researching the keywords and hashtags that will give you relevant content. You can use different tools for this. There are websites like allhashtag.com that you can use that will give you a bunch of different keywords to start with. And you can then dive deeper, have a look at your competitors as well, have a look at different groups, have a look at the hashtags, the keywords that people are using in the posts that you find. And what I'd then like you to do is, that's what I'd recommend, is to make a list of all of these. So make a list of different hashtags that you can use, make a list of the competitors, make a list of groups as well. And then once you've done the lists, you can then start going through them, and you can start following people and commenting on their posts and posting in different groups, really trying to add some value to people in these groups and to people that you're interacting with. And at the same time, you'd then like to make posts on your own social media channels. So post out different types of content, some images, maybe some videos with the link to your landing page, and also make sure you're using the hashtags that you've researched. And I have a few more suggestions for you before you're actually getting started. Again, always try to add value to your target audience. That's probably the most important lesson from this webinar today. One thing that you might want to do is to ask your friends or any contacts that you have to share your posts on their social media channels. You might want to tag them in your posts as well to tap into their networks and get more reach. Now, once you know that someone is interested, it's good to send them a private message as well to invite them to your webinar. It's just a lot more personal. And please don't spam. When you spam, your account might get flagged up and it might get banned. And also be aware that when you're following people, social media platforms have limits on how many people you can follow on a day. So beware of these limits. Don't just follow everyone. And I'd now like you to get started with this. So first of all, try and develop either your own marketing strategy, or you can use this example strategy that I've given you in here. Start going through these lists that you make then, and follow your strategy to really get your first engagement. And once you've done this, you can then decide what's actually working best for you. So decide whether paid advertising is working best, whether organic marketing is working best, or whether you might like a combination of. Also, if you would like some help in developing an organic marketing strategy or a paid marketing strategy, you can book in a call with me and we'd be very happy to speak with you. Let's see, Nick has a question here. How can you research hashtags here? So Nick, there are different tools out there that you can use. Just make a Google search about just Google for hashtag tools. These will normally recommend you a bunch of hashtags that you can get started with. Now, once you then have some hashtags that you can start with, do searches on social media platforms. Probably best to get started with would be Twitter. It's quite easy to do it there. Just type in the hashtags, type in the keywords that are related to the pain points and to the goals of your target audience, and then have a look at what the people that are posting there, what hashtags these are using, and then you can include these in your searches and do some more searches. Also have a look at your competitors, and that should be giving you a bunch of different hashtags that you can use. In terms of pain points, you might want to envision what kind of people you actually want to engage and what you're going to help them with. And this way, once you envision what situation they are in, you'll then be able to make searches with keywords that are describing the situation, are describing the issues that they're having. Right, so next up, the last session of this bootcamp is going to be on how you can convert your signups into clients and revenue. So make sure you're attending this. It's going to be next week. Right, thanks very much for attending, and I'll see you all next week. Bye. Create a recorded on-demand webinar. These are the steps to follow. Once you've set up a webinar in your webinars area, we now need to connect a landing page to it. Now, a landing page you would set up before in your capture section, and we can then select it here and link it to this webinar. It will then give you a direct link, and this direct link will take you to the landing page of this webinar. So now to record it, if you go to your rehearse or broadcast area, you can then simply start mic and webcam, record your webinar, and once you have recorded it, go to view recordings. Now this will take you to your auto webinar recording section, and once your recording is done processing, you will then see it in here. Now what you might want to do is you might want to do some editing before you're setting it live. So click on the image and then edit the recording. You can edit the start time and the end time of this webinar. Once you've made your changes, save it. Now we want to return to the auto webinar recording section, and so we want to click on auto webinar recording in your webinar settings, and you can then select this recording. And now once you have selected it, it will then be visible for anyone who comes through your landing page and signs up to your webinar. And you have some more options as well. Under auto webinar options, you can enable or disable the slider and pause button. So if you wanted to autoplay go to auto webinar options and enable autoplay, and it will play automatically. So these are the steps to follow to create a recorded and on-demand webinar.